Let's be real, taxes are like IKEA instructions. If IKEA instructions were written by a sleep-deprived accountant who's also a fan of riddles, you're staring at forms like, wait, is my dog a dependent or just an emotional support witness to my poor life choices? Meanwhile, your cousin Brad claims he maximizes deductions by writing off his fantasy football losses as small business expenses. Here's the good news. Filing taxes online doesn't have to feel like defusing a bomb while TurboTax yells, choose wisely, at you. Stick with me, and in the next few minutes you'll go from what's a W-2 to I filed my taxes in my pajamas and now the IRS owes me money. This is your no BS, zero judgment guide to filing taxes online, perfect for anyone who's ever stared at a W-2 like it's a love letter from the IRS written in hieroglyphics. We're about to slice through the jargon like a motivational speaker at a pyramid scheme convention. Think of me as your tax spirit guide, here to help you navigate everything from, wait, how do tax brackets even work, to, no Karen, your Beanie Baby collection is not a deductible business expense, unless you're running a very niche eBay empire. We'll break down how taxes actually function. Spoiler alert, it's not just the government's way of funding their secret moon lair. We'll figure out whether you need to hire a pro or if you can DIY this like your latest questionable Pinterest furniture hack. We'll tackle the paperwork Olympics, and yes, you deserve a gold medal for finding that 1099 you swore wasn't in the junk drawer. And we'll cover the landmines to avoid, because nobody wants an IRS audit surprise party. So grab your favorite stress snack, no judgment if it's wine gummies at 10 in the morning, and let's turn you from tax terrified to I filed that thing in my pajamas by lunchtime. Buckle up, Buttercup, we're doing taxes. All right, let's get real about the basics. What are taxes really? I like to explain it like this. Think of a subscription service. You know how Netflix has different plans, basic, standard, premium. Well, the tax system has tax tiers based on your income. Generally, the more you earn, the higher your tax rate. It's like this. The government uses the money from taxes to pay for the things that benefit all of us. Things like roads, schools, hospitals, emergency services, all that stuff that keeps our society running. Now, here's where it gets interesting. Just like you can upgrade or downgrade your Netflix plan, your tax tier can change depending on your income and those all-important deductions or credits. Don't worry, we'll get to those later. The key thing to remember is that taxes aren't just some random number the government pulls out of thin air. It's a system like anything else with its own rules and logic. And trust me, once you get the basic framework, it becomes way less intimidating. Okay, this is a big one. Do you need to hire an accountant, or can you handle this yourself? The answer, as with many things in life, is it depends. So let's break it down to help you decide. You might need a pro if you own a business. Business taxes can get complicated fast with all those deductions, expenses, and different filing requirements. Or if you have complex investments, things like stocks, bonds, and real estate can really add layers of complexity to your taxes. Also, if you've had a major life change, did you get married, divorced, have a baby, or buy a house? Big events like these can significantly impact your taxes. And finally, if you're just plain stressed, if the thought of doing your taxes makes you want to hide under the covers, it might be worth the peace of mind to hire a professional. On the other hand, you can probably DIY if you have a simple tax situation. If you're a W-2 employee with no major deductions or investments, you can likely handle it yourself. Also, if you're comfortable with technology, online tax software has come a long way and can guide you through the process step by step. And of course, if you're willing to learn, there are tons of resources online to help you understand the basics. Now, if you decide to go the DIY route, you'll probably use online tax software. There are lots of options out there, and they generally work like this. They ask you a series of questions about your income, deductions, and credits. Then they use your answers to fill out the necessary tax forms. And finally, they help you file your return electronically. But here's an important note. Even if you use tax software, It's super important to double check everything. The software is a tool, but you're still responsible for making sure your return is accurate. Okay, let's talk about the dreaded paperwork. Gathering your tax documents might seem like a chore, but it's essential. Think of it as collecting all the pieces of a puzzle. You can't complete the picture without them. Or think of it like a scavenger hunt, where the prize is not being audited. Pro tip: if you find a 1099 in your junk drawer next to a half-eaten granola bar, you're officially an adult. Here are some of the most common tax documents you might need. First, the W-2. This is from your employer, and it shows your wages and the taxes taken out of your paycheck. Next, the 1099. This form reports various types of income, such as income from freelance work, interest, and dividends. Then there's the 1098, which reports mortgage interest you've paid. Also, you'll need records of any other income, like income from self-employment, investments, or other sources. And finally, records of deductions. This could be receipts for charitable donations, student loan interest statements, and records of other deductible expenses. Here's a pro tip: start gathering your documents early. Don't wait until the last minute. The sooner you get organized, the less stressful the whole process will be. All right, you've made it this far. You understand how taxes work. You've decided whether to hire a pro or DIY, and you've gathered all your documents. Now for the main event, actually filing your taxes online. Here's a general overview of the process. First, choose your online tax software if you're going the DIY route. Do a little research and pick software that fits your needs and budget. Heads up, TurboTax is like the overpriced avocado toast of tax software. Works great, but you'll question your life choices at checkout. Free Tax USA is the IKEA meatball of filing. Surprisingly good, but you'll still wonder if you messed up somewhere. Guess which one I use. Next, create an account or log in. You'll need to provide some basic information to get started. Then enter your personal information. This includes your name, address, social security number, and other details. After that, report your income. This is where you'll enter the information from your W-2s, 1099s, and other income documents. Next, claim any deductions or credits. This is where you can potentially reduce your tax liability. Don't worry, we'll talk more about this in a bit. Then, review your return. Double check everything to make sure it's accurate. After that, e-file your return. This is the fastest and most secure way to file. And finally, pay any taxes owed or receive your refund. If you owe taxes, you can usually pay online. If you're getting a refund, it will be deposited into your bank account or mailed to you. Just a heads up, the specific steps might vary a little depending on the tax software you use, but this is the general process. All right, we're almost at the finish line. But before we wrap up, I want to make sure you're aware of the 3 biggest mistakes people make when filing their taxes. Avoiding these can save you a lot of headaches and money. First big mistake, not reporting all your income. This is a big one. The IRS knows about most of your income thanks to those W-2s and 1099s. Yes, even that $20 you made selling your ex's hoodie on OfferUp. The IRS has a shockingly good memory. Filing late is like showing up to a potluck with empty hands. Nobody's happy, and now you owe a sorry I'm late casserole, aka penalties. Trying to hide income is a recipe for trouble. Always report all your income, no matter how small. Second big mistake, filing late. Procrastination can be costly. The penalties for filing your taxes late are often much higher than the penalties for paying late. Avoid costly finance mistakes. Finance Fiascos Volume 1 Raw Confessions plus mind map PDFs for bite-sized quick review of these videos. Use code CLUE10 for 10% off today only. So even if you can't pay your taxes right away, file on time and then explore options like a payment plan with the IRS. Third big mistake, missing out on deductions. This is where you can actually save money. A lot of people miss out on valuable deductions. Some common ones include student loan interest. You can deduct a portion of the interest you paid on student loans. Charitable donations. If you donate to a qualified charity, you can often deduct the value of your donation. But keep in mind, to claim deductions like charitable donations, you might need to itemize your deductions instead of taking the standard deduction. A lot of taxpayers take the standard deduction because it's higher now than in the past. And finally, home energy tax credits. If you've made energy efficient improvements to your home, you might qualify for a tax credit. It's important to know that these credits have specific rules and forms like Form 5695, and they change from year to year based on IRS guidelines or congressional renewals. So here's another pro tip. Tax software can help you identify potential deductions, but it's always a good idea to do your own research or talk to a tax professional to make sure you're not leaving any money on the table. Okay, let's recap everything. Filing your taxes online doesn't have to be a nightmare. By understanding the basics, gathering your documents, using the right tools, and avoiding those common mistakes, you can handle the process with confidence. Remember, taxes are a system, and like any system, it has rules. The more you understand those rules, the easier it becomes. And if you ever feel overwhelmed, don't hesitate to get help from a qualified tax professional. If you found this video helpful, hit subscribe so the algorithm doesn't send you to the weird side of YouTube like ASMR tax form unboxing videos, or don't. But then you'll miss part 2, how to pay the IRS and get 3% cash back.